The Green Children of Woolpit, a medieval fairy tale or lost history. Intro: imagine a world steeped in superstition, where the line between reality and folklore was perpetually blurred. Now picture a quiet English village in the heart of the 12th century. Suddenly, two children emerge from the earth, their skin a vivid green, their language utterly unknown, their very existence a profound enigma. This isn't the opening of a fantasy novel. This is a documented historical account of the Green Children of Woolpit, a medieval mystery that has baffled scholars, fascinated historians, and fueled endless speculation for nearly 9 centuries. Were they lost souls from a hidden realm, victims of a tragic, forgotten event, or simply a cautionary tale spun into legend? Join Adventure Hidden as we delve into the haunting, bizarre, and utterly captivating story of the Green Children, exploring the original accounts, the scientific theories, and the enduring debate. Were they a medieval fairy tale, or a lost piece of our history? Chapter 1. The account unveiled the original narratives. The remarkable story of the Green Children of Woolpit comes down to us primarily from two highly respected medieval chroniclers, William of Newburgh's Historia Rerum Anglicarum History of English Affairs and Ralph of Coggeshall's Chronicum Anglicanum Chronicle of English Affairs. Both accounts were written within a few decades of the alleged events, lending them significant historical weight, though their interpretations differed. The core story is as follows. Sometime during the tumultuous reign of King Stephen 1135–1154 AD, or perhaps Henry II 1154 to 1189 AD, in the village of Woolpit, Suffolk, England, local reapers or villagers discovered two children, a boy and a girl, emerging from a wolf pit, a deep ditch used to trap wolves. Their appearance was immediately striking and unsettling. Greenskin, their most famous feature was their skin, which was described as being a distinct green hue. Unusual clothes. Their garments were made of an unknown material and cut in a strange fashion, unfamiliar to anyone in the village. Unknown language. They spoke a language that no one in Woolpit could understand, nor could they understand English. They communicated in an unintelligible babble. The children were brought to the home of Sir Richard de Colin, a local landowner, who attempted to care for them. Initially, they refused all food offered to them, including bread, meat, and vegetables, appearing to starve. It was only when raw broad beans were brought in that they eagerly consumed them. This unusual diet further deepened the mystery surrounding their origin, suggesting they came from a place where common English foodstuffs were alien. This initial encounter set the stage for one of history's most compelling and bizarre unsolved mysteries. Chapter 2. A glimpse into their world, the children's story. Under the care of Sir Richard de Colin, the two Green Children began their difficult adaptation to the world of Woolpit. Their fates, however, diverged significantly. The girl's adaptation. The girl proved to be more resilient and adaptable. Gradually over time, she began to learn English. As she assimilated into the local diet and environment, her peculiar green skin slowly faded and she acquired a normal complexion. She eventually became integrated into society, and according to William of Newburgh, she later married a man from King's Lynn, a town about 40 miles away, and was said to be still living in the district, and to have been very wanton and impudent. This suggests she truly became a part of their world. The boy's fate. The boy, however, struggled more. He remained melancholic and sickly, never fully adapting to his new surroundings or diet. He died relatively soon after his arrival, unable to thrive outside his mysterious homeland. It was the girl, once she had mastered enough English, who provided the only explanation for their sudden appearance. Her story was recounted to their new community, St. Martin's Land. She claimed they came from a place she called St. Martin's Land, or sometimes simply the land of St. Martin, perpetual twilight. In this land, she described a perpetual twilight, where the sun never shone brightly, and everything was illuminated by a kind of dim gloom. Green inhabitants. All the inhabitants of this land, she asserted, were green, just like she and her brother had been. The journey. She recounted that they had been tending their father's cattle when they heard a great noise, perhaps a bell. Lost and disoriented, they followed the sound into a cave or underground passage. They journeyed through a long, dark place for an unknown period, guided by the sound. Sudden emergence. Suddenly, they emerged from the darkness into the blinding sunlight of Woolpit, near the wolf pit, bewildered and separated from their herds. This extraordinary account, combining elements of travel through darkness, a world of perpetual twilight, and green inhabitants, has fueled centuries of speculation, making the Green Children an enduring puzzle. Chapter 3. Medical and dietary explanations. The green hue solved. While the girl's story of a twilight world sounds fantastical, historians and scientists have proposed several grounded explanations for the children's green skin and initial peculiar behavior. Chlorosis, green sickness. This is perhaps the most widely accepted scientific explanation for the green hue. Chlorosis is a historical medical condition, a form of iron deficiency anemia, which was once common, particularly among young women, due to poor diet. Sufferers would develop a distinctive pale, often yellowish or greenish tint to their skin. The green sickness was a well-known ailment in medieval times. Mechanism. If the children had been trapped underground for a prolonged period, possibly In a mine or a cave system, as their story suggests, their diet would have been severely restricted, leading to iron deficiency. Lack of sunlight would also contribute to their pallor and potentially impact their metabolism, making their skin sensitive to light. Fading hue, the fact that the girl's greenness faded once she adopted a normal diet and was exposed to sunlight strongly supports the chlorosis theory. Dietary issues and poisoning, while less prominent than chlorosis, other dietary factors have been considered. For example, exposure to arsenic common in some mining areas could cause skin discoloration. Although usually not a vibrant green, their initial refusal of common foods and preference for beans points to a highly restricted or unusual prior diet. Malnutrition and disorientation. Their initial confusion, inability to communicate, and sensitivity to light would be consistent with severe malnutrition, prolonged darkness, and the shock of suddenly emerging into a bright populated environment. The unfamiliar language would simply exacerbate their disorientation. This chapter attempts to strip away the magical elements in view the green children through a medical and environmental lens, suggesting that their most famous characteristic, the green skin, may have a perfectly rational, albeit tragic explanation. Chapter 4. The Lost History Theories. Geographic and political explanations. If the green skin has a medical explanation, then the rest of the children's story, particularly their origin and language, can be explored through a lens of lost history, a forgotten event, or a misunderstanding of a real-world situation. The Flemish immigrants theory, the leading historical hypothesis. This is the most popular historical explanation, championed by scholars like Paul Harris. Flemish persecution. In the 12th century, there was significant Flemish immigration to England, particularly in East Anglia where Woolpit is located, as they were skilled wool workers. However, during the turbulent reign of King Henry II, after the Battle of Fornham 1173 AD, there was a brutal crackdown on Flemish rebels and mercenaries who had supported Henry's son's rebellion. Many Flemings were massacred or forced to flee, fleeing to underground. Children from a Flemish family, fleeing persecution, might have hidden in ancient mine shafts, caves, or even Roman-era tunnels that existed in the area. They could have been trapped or lost for days. Language barrier. They would have spoken a form of Low German or an archaic dialect of Flemish, which would have been utterly unintelligible to the English-speaking villagers of Woolpit. This explains their unknown language. St. Martin's Land. This could refer to the Flemish town of St. Martin-Athethries, or more simply, the nearby village of Fornham St. Martin, which was precisely where a significant massacre of Flemings occurred. If they fled from there, St. Martin's Land might have been their last known location or the direction of their journey. Twilight world. Their description of a twilight world could simply be the memory of living in deep, dark tunnels for an extended period. Isolated community theory. Less likely but plausible. They could have come from a highly secluded, perhaps impoverished, community cut off from mainstream society, who suffered a similar dietary deficiency and had a unique dialect. A simple mistake. It's also possible that the chroniclers exaggerated or misinterpreted elements told to them secondhand, turning a desperate flight in a medical condition into something more mysterious. These historical theories provide compelling, albeit still unprovable, solutions to the enigma, grounding the fantastic tale in the harsh realities of medieval life. Chapter 5. The enduring fairy tale. Mystical and folkloric interpretations. Despite the rational explanations, the story of the Green Children of Woolpit has resonated through centuries precisely because it aligns so perfectly with medieval folklore and the concept of an otherworld. Fairy folk, changelings. Medieval society deeply believed in fae creatures, elves, and beings from parallel realms. Children appearing mysteriously with strange skin and language are classic tropes found in stories of changelings or children taken from the fairy world. Their aversion to typical human food and their subsequent transformation could be seen as the fae nature fading. The underworld. Subterranean realms. Their account of following cattle through a cave and emerging into a new bright world strongly echoes myths of journeys to the underworld or hidden subterranean kingdoms, common in many cultures. St. Martin's Land becomes a mystical, rather than geographical realm. Symbolism. The green children can be interpreted symbolically. Their greenness might represent innocence, nature, or something alien to human society. Their integration, or lack thereof, symbolizes the challenge of accepting otherness. Oral tradition and embellishment. It's important to remember that these accounts, while written down, likely stemmed from oral traditions. Stories can be embellished and altered over time, adding fantastical elements that weren't present in the original event. The chroniclers themselves, while diligent, were not immune to the prevailing beliefs of their era. Legacy in popular culture. The enduring power of the story is evident in its continued presence in literature, poetry, and even modern fantasy. Authors like Herbert Reed, The Green Child, and numerous others have drawn inspiration from this haunting tale, ensuring its place in our collective imagination. The story of the Green Children serves as a powerful reminder of a time when the world was perceived as far more mysterious, and the boundaries between reality and the supernatural were fluid. Whether fact or folklore, it continues to captivate because it touches upon fundamental human questions about origin, identity, and the unknown. Outro: The Green Children of Woolpit, a tale plucked from the annals of medieval England that continues to perplex and fascinate. Were they real children, tragically lost and suffering from a medical condition, their plight misinterpreted and magnified by an era of superstition? Or was their arrival truly a glimpse into a hidden world, a passage from a place unseen, a genuine encounter with the unknown? The truth remains elusive, suspended between medical possibility, historical conjecture, and the timeless allure of folklore. Yet, it is precisely this ambiguity that makes the Green Children one of history's most compelling and enduring mysteries. They stand as a testament to the strange wonders our past can reveal, leaving us forever pondering the hidden corners of our world and the stories that still wait to be fully understood. This has been Adventure Hidden, and we hope you continue to explore the mysteries that blur the lines of history.